Students, is my screen is visible? Can you all see the screen, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, students, you know that you all know that our calendar of event is changed. You know that calendar of events is changed.
Yes, ma'am.
The last working day, instead of December 17th, they have changed it to January 16th. So another now we are in November, so another 2 months we have. So almost, I mean, if I take hardly 3 4 classes, then I can complete the syllabus, student. So what we'll do in the another remaining classes? Yes, any suggestion, any solution, or any what you expect? Yes, Srinivas, what will do in one of the 2 months we have.
Mom,
Hmm. ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳು ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್.
mom, anything is fine.
Anything is fine. No, what students wants, that is my question. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು? So we'll go in that way. Rashmi, Vinny, yes, Vinny, what you say?
Don't know, ma'am.
Don't know. But we have 2 months now. So we have 2 months. So what we do?
Mom, study holidays could be.
ಕೊಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಪ್ಪ, ಕೊಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಹಾಲಿಡೇಸ್ ಕೊಡಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಡೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು? We cannot give study holidays. If they wanted to give study holidays, then they would have completed this semester by the next month end, and they would have given the study holidays. But they don't want to give study holidays. They want to conduct. They want us to conduct online classes. So almost just once I'll open the syllabus and we'll discuss so what all we have seen in the previous uh, in the previous modules. This is the first module, students. In first module, we learned how we learned the human error, how the human make mistake, and what are the types of mistakes while writing, while speaking, while doing work. And main thing we learned here in the first module is that diagram, the observed behavior and the expected behavior. Observed behavior and the expected behavior of the program, that we learned in this module. And in the second module, the problems begin in the second module, how we take a problem. So from right from the triangle problem, ATM machine problem, next day problem, a currency converter problem, and sandwich this wiper problem. So all these problems we have learned in the second module. And in third module we learned the boundary values. Yes, students, I taught these. Whether you people understood all these modules, whatever I am telling, the gist of these modules, nimgu artha agidya? Yes, the boundary value, the equivalence class testing. The equivalence class testing is very much important. There I explained you the graphs strongly accepted, weakly accepted, and the decision table. The writing a decision table of next day problem is easy compared to the decision table of commission problem. Why? Because in the next day problem, what will be the next day is fixed. But in the commission problem, we don't know what is the commission of a salesperson. Yes, correct, no? We don't know how much he is going to sell in this month, how much he is going to sell in the next month. We don't know. So it is difficult for us to draw or write the decision table. So path testing, data flow testing, level of testing. So here DD path, and some of the guidelines for path and the observation guidelines, unit testing, and slice-based testing, alternative life cycle of waterfall model, and ATM, the steps involved in the ATM machine. And this is the last module here, the fault-based testing, mutation analysis, fault-based adequacy criteria, variations on mutation. So this module we are learning. So now still these many topics are there, students. If I complete these topics, then the end of the syllabus. So hardly I can take 4 to 5 classes, or in 3 4 classes only I can complete. So after this, my question is, what will do? What you want? What you expect? Yes, Maithili,
Yes, ma'am.
what do you expect, Maithili? What will do another 2 months?
I'm
Ma'am,
revision.
even I am feeling same.
What you
Study holidays.
Ma'am, revision.
revision? Who said revision?
Me.
Abhinav. Definitely you'll say revision because you have not attended so many classes. Correct. Good. Srinivas, you want to tell something?
Ma'am, like
Hmm.
5 days in a week ನಮ್ಗೆ ಓದ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಒನ್ ಡೇ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತೀವಿ.
ಆಗಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. That is not possible. ಆ ಥರ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ I would have only told you can these many days you have study holidays, you study well. If you have any doubts, you come back to me. I would have told. But the last working day means till the last working day we have to conduct classes. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ solution.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Sunil.
Ma'am, like solve some real world problems up to December 15th or 17th, then revisions
See, it is a
after.
real world problem means when you do project only then you will be able to do a practically you can. Here we just have theory, no. So if you are doing any project, then you can apply test cases and you can solve a real world problems. But here we have only theory. Yes, that also we can do. Some of the examples we can take, but for any problem I can write, or anybody can write n number of test cases. The implementation is only very much important. No, when we don't have any project, then how to implement? Where to implement?
That's what, ma'am, I said. Take one real world problems, give
Hmm.
the give chances to everybody to do test cases with their own ideas.
Huh. Okay, that hardly 1 or 2 classes or 1 week we can do, but we have 4 weeks. Okay,
Then
we'll.
give some holidays also, ma'am, in between. Like
That is
two,
not
2 days, 3
possible,
days,
no?
like
Just now
working,
I
three
told the
days
same thing.
holidays.
So, Alala, just now I told same thing to Srinivas. That is not possible. Okay.
ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನಾವು.
Even revision will complete in 15 days only.
Rashmi, this is online class, Rashmi. Everything is recording. So if you tell or if you don't tell, everybody will come to know. Yes, Purti, you want to tell something, Spurti?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell.
Ma'am, to be honest, we are so done with our online classes.
Okay.
So just give us a break, like 1 week break, and after that you can start with the revision, right, ma'am?
Definitely, definitely. But you,
Like at least at least we'll get some break. Like apart from
even we
like
get
online
break,
classes, we can do.
yes, Spurti. Tell Spurti.
That's it, ma'am. We just want a break, like 1 week at least. We want
You
from
talk
this
to
online classes.
you
Yeah.
talk to you talk to HOD. Even I talk to HOD. We'll see what madam will tell. You also put one word to her.
Like
I will speak to
you
her.
have to write to record now, ma'am. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1 week break ಕೊಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ HOD ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. But when VTO only decided, then even madam she also cannot help. So we'll speak to madam.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Adashte, you want only holidays. I thought you will tell we'll do revision. Yes, one good input I got from Sunil. So we can discuss a real world problem. So we can do that. And even Abhinav told we'll do revision. Revision yargu bedwa. Everybody uh, knows what is in all the 5 modules.
Revision regular
Ma'am, like
classes start
last
ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು
2 weeks you can do, ma'am.
And that's what we are telling. Don't do a continuous revision.
Hmm.
Then it won't be a revision, right?
Yeah, correct. Okay, students, we'll discuss that at the end of the class. So I think you can see my screen now. You can see the PPT.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the last class, we have seen the mutation, fault-based adequacy criteria. Next, we have from test case specification to test case. Yes, students, when you write a test case, for a given problem, is there any guidelines how to write a test case, or which all the we have? Definitely we have a typical test case format. We have a typical test case format. The typical test case format, what it contains, students, the typical test case format.
Test case ID, result,
Very good.
expected results, etc.
So this is the format of a typical test case, students. So when you write any test case, we have to follow a test case format. So the format is the test case ID, because when we write a n number of test cases, then it is difficult for us to identify the test case. So better if you give a unique ID for each test case, then it will be better. So test case ID, it may be T1, T2, T3, or project T1, anything, whatever it is user friendly and easily understandable to anybody. So like that, if you keep a test case ID, it will be better. So test case ID purpose. What is the purpose? Here when I was explaining, see here I have taken one text box with the integer, and here a phone number I have written. When this topic I did in second module, students. So if the purpose of the test case, if you are writing a test case for the phone number, then here for this text box I am writing a test case. The purpose I have to write in the preconditions. What conditions, if any conditions are there, then we have to write the condition. We have to mention the preconditions and the the inputs. What input we are giving? I am giving phone number. The expected output. What is the expected output? If it is matching, if you take mobile number, in the text box, it should not have a less than 10 digits and greater than 10 digits. So if it is matching, then it should give in this text box, it should take a mobile number as an input. That is my expectation. If it is less than or if it is greater than, then immediately the proper error message it should display. So this is my expected output. The post condition also, if you want to mention, you can mention. And the very much important is execution history. When I have executed, in which version I have executed, what tool I have executed, because in this software automation we have many tools. Selenium we have, JMeter we have, so a number of many tools we have. So which tools the date of the execution, result, whether it is pass or fail, and the version, and run by which software, whether it is a manual test case or it is an automation test case. If it is an automation test case, which tool you have used, whether you have used Selenium testing tool or JMeter. So what tool you have used. So all, see, if you see this diagram, student, so easily anybody, if I don't know anything about this project, if any new person, come and see the project, if any fresher or if a person who is not related to this project, if that person also come and see the project, he will understand what is the purpose of the test case, and what test case you have written, and what is the expected output, and when you have written, and what tool you have used, and which version, what is the result, whether the test case is passed or test case is fail. When the test case will fail? If I have not done a proper validation. If I have not done a proper validation, then definitely the test case will fail. So this is the typical structure of a test case, or this is a typical test case information. Yes, students, here am I getting all the information? Yes, I am getting all the information. So here what the here we but here we are not telling that the format. Here we are not talking about the format. Here we are talking about the test case. Just now I told, here I am writing a test case for phone number. Nobody told me that you have to write a test case for phone number. But in my project I have phone number field. I have a phone number field I am writing. If I in my project, if I have a name, age, only two fields I am taking. Name and age, only two fields I am taking. If I write a validation, for this text box, for this age text box, phone number validation, is it right? No, it is not right, because whatever the input I am taking from the user or from the customer or from the end user, so whatever input I am taking, so based on that input I have to write the test cases. There is no specific guideline, there is no specific rules and regulations to write a test case. So here there is no clear sharp line between a test case design and a test case generation. So here the test case, how we are designing a test case, the previous diagram we have seen. No, the previous diagram we have seen. And what test case we have I am writing here? I am writing a test case for age. Here I am writing a test case for name. Here if I include one more test case, address, and login id and password. Login id and password, these two fields are there. So this is the most these fields are used in most of the projects. So for this, related to this login id and password, whatever the test cases I have to include, those test cases I have to include. Simply I cannot write a test case whichever I want, and there is no proper guidelines or any restrictions to write a test cases. So instantiating test cases that specify several constraints may be simple if the constraints are independent. For example, a constraints on which of several input parameter values, but becomes more difficult to automate when multiple constraints apply to the same. See, instantiating means what? Instantiating means beginning or the beginning of the, or starting with the test case, or when we invent a test case, or when we develop a test case, there are several constraints will be there. So there are several constraints will be there. See, the constraints are based on the project only, students. There is no general constraints. Correct? No? When you write a test case, for hospital management, if you're writing a test case for the hospital management, and one more test case for education institute. So two projects you have. Assume that you have two projects. Education institute. Also you have developed a project. You have automated the education institute, and you have automated the hospital management. So two projects I have. So for this two projects, when you write a test case, so each will be having a different constraints. Correct? No? Here, as I told in the previous classes, what you need a registration form and appointment for outpatient and inpatient history. In inpatient, again the case sheet will be there. In case sheet, every information will be there. So when these all comes here, so based on these constraints, I have to write a test case. And based on the education institutes, here the employee details, the students detail, the salary details, and admission details, placement details. So here, with respect to this project, whatever the cases, whatever the constraints I have to follow, that those constraints I have to follow, and I have to write a independent test cases. So here the test cases are not the hospital management case is not dependent on this education institute test case, and this is not depending on this. So both are independent, both the cases are independent. Some well-formed set of constraints have no solutions. So some problems will be having no solution at all. For example, an even positive number, an even positive integer is that not a sum of two prime numbers. What are prime numbers, students? What are prime numbers? What are prime numbers?
Ma'am, the numbers which can divide by itself and 1.
Yes, good. The prime number is a number which is divisible by 1 and itself. For example, 1, 3, 9. 9 is prime number.
No, ma'am.
9 is prime number. No, 9 is not prime number. 9 is divisible by 1, 3, and 9. The prime numbers are the number which is divisible by 1 and itself. The number which is divisible by 1 and itself. 7, 7, and Murli, which is the next prime number, Murli? Murli, which is the next prime number?
Hello, ma'am.
Which is the next prime number?
11, ma'am.
11, huh? Savita, which is the next prime number?
30, ma'am.
Gangubai, which is the next prime number?
13, ma'am. 1.
Okay. Savita,
Yes, ma'am.
which is the next prime number?
17, ma'am. 1, 7.
Okay. Next students, which is the next prime number?
I'm 19.
19, ma'am.
Twenty-one. 21 is prime.
No, ma'am. Next 23.
And
29, ma'am. Next one. Thirty-one.
33.
Ma'am, 33 ಬರುತ್ತಾ?
No, 33 ಬರಲ್ಲ. Because it is divisible by 11 also. Next.
37 will come, ma'am. 37.
Next, 39 ಬರಲ್ಲ, 41 ಬರುತ್ತಾ? 41 is prime?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, 41 is, 43 is prime. So if you observe these prime numbers, we don't have any even numbers here, students. Correct, no? Whatever the test cases you write to find the even numbers in the given prime numbers, so we are not going to find any even numbers here. Yes, we are not going to find any even numbers. So in some cases, it is difficult to write. Though we write a test cases, it is difficult to pass the test cases. So here, one thing you need to understand is in test case specification, there is no link, or there is no sharp line between the test case design and test case generation. So test case generation is nothing but the writing the test case. The test case design, we have a typical test case, whatever may be the test case you write. So based on the test case, we design the form. We have a standard format to design the test case. That is in the second module we have seen the test case id, purpose, input, output, precondition, post condition, and the execution details. So all this information will be there in the test case design. So the test case generation is nothing but the test cases what we write. uh, Here there is, there is no specific constraints for all the to write the test case. Everything is depending on the problem statement, what type of problem we have. So based on that problem statement, we write a test case, and sometimes it is difficult to find the solution for the test case. Scaffolding, I'll do it in the next class, students. Scaffolding, I'll do it in the next class. Yes, students, I'll give you a problem statement. I'll give you a problem statement. For that problem statement, you have to apply the mutation analysis. Yes, students, I'll give you a problem, or I'll give you the scenario. I'll give you the scenario. For the scenario, you have to apply the mutation analysis, and you have to write the what mutation you have implemented or you have applied for that mutation. You have applied for that given problem. Yes, you understood my question, students? Yes, students, you understood my question? So I'll give you a problem. I will give you a problem, and you have to tell me what type of, or what are the mutations you can apply for that project. Yes, students, understanding what I'm telling?
Ma'am, can you give one example?
Huh. You want me to give example?
Yes, ma'am.
You tell me, you know what is mutation? Yes, Murli, you know what is mutation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So simple example I'll write here. I'll take one empty slide and I'll explain, students. This mutation means what? Mutation means a change, a modification in the program. That is, I hope that everybody knows the mutation means the modification. Mutation means the modification in the program. Modification in the program or variation in the program. Variation in the program. So how we have to implement a variation, how we have to apply the modification to the program. So it should not change the behavior of the program. It should not change the behavior of the program. Behavior means the execution. Behavior means the execution. It should not change the execution. Suppose I want to display the number from 1 to 10. I want to display the number from 1 to 10. So what for this, what I write? I write a for loop. Is it right, students? I write for loop. Is it right? Heli. Yes? Is this a correct for loop to write to display this number? Is it a correct for loop, students?
Ma'am,
Respond.
I is equal to 1.
I is equal to 1.
1.
If I write I is equal to 0, what happens?
If we print I, then
Plus
0 also will print.
It will print 0, and when I print, it will print 0 to 0 to ಎಷ್ಟು print ಆಗುತ್ತೆ?
9, ma'am.
9. Yes, correct. 0 to 9 it will display. My intention is I want to print 0 to, or I want to print 1 to 10. Now what changes I have to do? What modification I have to do? Less than or
Ma'am, I less than equal to 10.
less than I is equals to, I'll let it be 0 only, students. So for I is equal to 0, I is less than or equal to 10. See here slightly I am changing the, I am implementing a modification in the program. So first initially what I have written the code, that is for I is equal to 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. For this logic I am getting the output, that is from 0 to 9 it is displaying. Alva? 0 to 9 it is displaying. Now what I am doing, I am doing slight modification in the program. See, this in yesterday's class I told in detail, this modification is nothing but the mutation. This the equal to symbol I am including in the expression. This equal to symbol is nothing but a mutation operator. Using this mutation operator I am modifying the program. So here I is equal to 0, I is less than or equal to 10. Now the output will be from 0 to 10. Yes, Is it affecting to my program? My intention is from 1 to 10 it should display, but it is displaying from 0 to 10. Is it any loss for me if it is displaying 0? If it is displaying from 2 to 10, is definitely I am not getting the expected output, but now it is displaying 0 to 10. So let it display. So now if you want to, now I'll do some more modification. For I is equal to 0, for I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Yes. Now what will be the output, students? ಇವಾಗ ಏನು output ಬರುತ್ತೆ? It will
1
display
to 10.
the number. Yes.
1 to 10 display ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ma'am.
1 to 10 it will display. Now what I do, again I will do a slight modification to my program. Now what will be the output? What will
Ma'am,
be the output?
same 1 to 10.
1 to 10. Yes. Here what we have seen, here in the terminology of mutation analysis, to the existing program, or to the original program, we are going to test. To the original program we are going to test, and when we apply the mutation, what we are doing, we are changing or we are differing the program from the original program, or we are modifying the program from the original program. In what way we are changing? We are changing in statement, condition, variable and label. See here, the original program was what I have written in the beginning. For I is equal to 0, I is less than 10. I is less than, in the initially I have written I is equal to 0, I is less than 10 and I plus plus. So for that input my output was 0 to 9. Now what I am doing, I am doing a changes in the variable declaration also. I is equal to, instead of I equal to 0, I am changing I equal to 1, and even in the expression also I am doing some changes. I am doing the change, I am applying the mutation. The mutation is nothing but the modification, the variation. And I told one more thing, students. If the variation is changing the behavior of the program, then that mutation will be rejected. If I change like this, for I is equal to 1, I is less than 10, I plus plus. ಇವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ output? Now what output I'll get? What output I'll get, students?
1 to 9, ma'am.
1 to 9. But I have to get the output 1 to 10. So this variation is not changing the behavior of the program. Correct? No? This behavior of the program, but this behavior is not matching with my requirement. Correct, now students? This behavior is not matching with my requirement. My requirement is 1 to 10. If it is displaying 0 to 10, then I would have accepted. Why? Because from 0 to 10 it is displaying. Now it is missing one number. I'm getting only 1 to 9. I'm getting only 1 to 9. So this behavior is not reaching my expectation. So this mutation is rejected. So this mutation, I is equal to 1, I is less than 10, I plus plus, this mutation is rejected. So now if you want to take your own problem, you can take. So whatever the problem you are taking, no, you mention the problem, what problem you are taking and how you are modifying the program. You have to write the initial program or the original program you have to write, and you have to write the mutation. Mutation means the changes. What changes you are going to implement in your project. So that is your today's assessment, students. In GCR, I'll create. Yes, you understood my question? All of you understood my question, students? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ನನ್ನ question now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll create a Yes, I have created an assignment in the GCR. I think everybody received a link. So you understood my question. Now take any problem, whichever problem you want, write the original condition and write what mutation you have implemented. What mutation you have implemented. Answer attendance, students. Yes, students, if you have any doubt in the assessment, ask now only. The problem is very simple. Take any problem. For that problem, write a test case, write a logic for that problem and apply the mutation. When you apply the mutation, is your mutation is changing the expected output. If it is changing the expected output, then that mutation will be rejected. If it is not changing the expected output, then that mutation will be accepted. Yes? Understood my question? Answer your attendance. Asta,
Present, ma'am.
Abhinav,
Present, ma'am.
Aishwarya,
Present, ma'am.
Ambrish,
Ma'am.
Anu,
Present, ma'am.
Arbas,
Present, ma'am.
Ashok,
Present, ma'am. Ma'am, Arjun.
Arjun, sorry, Arjun,
Present, ma'am.
Ashok,
Present, ma'am.
Benita,
Present, ma'am.
Bhargavi,
Yes, ma'am.
Chaitra,
Ma'am, Bhavishya present. Hello.
Okay. Dev,
Ma'am, Chaitra present.
okay, I marked. Dev, Dev is there?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Diksha,
Present, ma'am.
Deepika L,
Present, ma'am.
Deepika M,
Present, ma'am.
Murli,
Present, ma'am.
Gangubai,
Present, ma'am.
Gudia,
Present, ma'am.
Harshit,
Present, ma'am.
Junjar,
Present, ma'am.
Kavya,
Present, ma'am.
Kishore,
Present, ma'am.
Lata,
Yes, ma'am.
Manisha,
Present, ma'am.
Manjunath,
Yes, ma'am.
Nayana,
Present, ma'am.
Nilanjan,
Yes, ma'am.
Nishant.
Present, ma'am.
Why Nishant continuously 5 classes you didn't attend? Why? What happened? ಏನಾಯ್ತು?
Ma'am,
ಪವಿತ್ರ
sister's marriage, ma'am.
ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್. ಪವಿತ್ರ,
Present, ma'am.
ಮೈಥಿಲಿ,
Present, ma'am.
ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಕಾ,
Present, ma'am.
ಪವನ್,
Present, ma'am.
ಆಕಾಶ್,
Present, ma'am.
ರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ,
Present, ma'am.
ರಾಕೇಶ್,
Present, ma'am.
ರಮ್ಯಾ,
Present, ma'am.
ರಶ್ಮಿ,
Present, ma'am.
ರವಿಶಂಕರ್,
Yes, ma'am.
ರಿಜ್ವಾನ್,
Present, ma'am.
ವಿಶಾಲ್,
Present, ma'am.
ಸವಿತಾ,
Yes, ma'am.
ಶ್ರುತಿ,
Present, ma'am.
ಸ್ನೇಹ,
Yes, ma'am.
ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ,
Present, ma'am.
ಶ್ರೀನಿಧಿ, ಶ್ರೀನಿಧಿ, ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್,
Srinidhi present, ma'am.
ಓಕೆ, ಸುನಿಲ್,
Present, ma'am.
ವೈಷ್ಣವಿ,
Present, ma'am.
ವಿನ್ನಿ,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am.
ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ.